Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about having high standards and why having high standards is important when you are dating and if you want to have successful dates. So firstly, let me just go into what I personally mean by high standards. So high standards for me is just knowing what you personally want in a relationship. So being quite clear on what you want and not backing down on those things. So let's say, for example, one of your big things is you want to be with someone who is faithful, right? You want to be in a monogamous relationship and you don't want to be with someone who's going to stray, right? You go on a date and you really start connecting with someone. They're really gorgeous, they're really good looking, but they bring up the fact that they have cheated on every single person they have been with. They have cheated on every person they've ever been in a relationship with. So having high standards mean, even though you're really jiving and you're having a great time with this person and you think they're really hot and you think they're really good looking and you would love to carry on dating them, but when you hear that, you know that, this is going to be the only date you're going to have with them. That's what having high standards means. It means even if you're having a great time with someone, but it's really likely that they're going to violate one of your highest values, and they're going to do something. It's potentially that they're going to do something that's going to, turn your stomach and it's going to make you want to leave them, and it's not something that you personally respect or like, and they have a behavior like that. You know that, hey, this is such a disappointment, but this is going to be the only date I'm going to have with this person, unfortunately, because it seems like they have a track record of cheating on absolutely everybody that they've ever been with. And it's naive of me to think that they would change for me or I could change them, because clearly they have a track record of this kind of thing. I'm sure the other people that they were with were nice, were decent. I'm not going to judge them because I don't know who her exes were or his exes were. So I've got to take it into account and realize that, hey, you know what? What's the point? What's the point of me carrying on dating with this person and to go on another date with this person when it's highly likely that I'm going to be living with one eye open if we ever do get into a relationship and this thing starts to get more serious. This is what it means by having high standards, right? Knowing what you want and what you don't want. And if when you're on a date, someone displays anything that could, go against one of your highest values and something that you truly cherish, whatever it may be, that was just an example. You might not care about that thing, but if they go against that, then you have to walk away, and you have to, you might finish the date. Obviously, you might not just walk out, or you may want to if you want to, but it means that you're probably never going to reach out to this person ever again and ask for another date. That's what having high standards is. It's not like, oh, they have to have this certain hair color, or they have to have their nails painted in this sort of way, or they have to be this exact height. It's not about that. It's about what you truly want in a relationship and looking out for those qualities in a person that you're dating. And if they don't display those qualities or they display a red flag, you walk away. That's high standards. So what you need to do then when you're on dates is you need to be skeptical, right? And you need to know exactly what it is that you want, right? So a good video that I made on this was how to attract the right person, where we go into an exercise where you basically mold the perfect person for you, what you want, what you don't want, and then you've got like a list then of what you want, and you kind of keep that list in the back of your mind when you go out on dates. So you kind of ask these important questions to find out, is this one a good match, right? So for example, let's say you are someone who lives a really, really healthy lifestyle. Let's say you get up at 5 a.m. And you'd love it if you could find a girlfriend or a boyfriend who's a gym buddy, or at least lives a healthy lifestyle. Perhaps they might not go to the gym or do the exact same things that you do. Perhaps they really love to go running or hiking, but still it's something to do with health and fitness that maybe you would like to get into as well. So it doesn't have to be like completely perfect, but when you go on a date and you meet someone who lives that same kind of lifestyle, then you can think, oh great, that means, I'll probably go out on another date with this person in a week's time. I'll ask them out again, and this seems like it could lead somewhere. Now, obviously, you don't want to just go by one thing. You need to ask multiple questions about their lifestyle, about what they value, about what they want. And you don't want to do it in such a way that's an interrogation and it makes the date less fun. It's just things that you bring up in general conversation while you're having a good time. I don't want you to go there with like a massive list of what you want and be like ticking things off, or, mentally ticking things off and like interrogating them. You want to be, obviously doing something fun, having a good conversation, talking about general things. And, if the conversation runs dry, then you can think about one of your questions, that is important to you. But you want to be doing this while you're having fun, while you're having a good time, while you're smiling, while you're laughing, and while you're figuring things out as well. Because you want to make sure the dates are fun and exciting and good. You don't want to be, like I said, interrogating them and keep on questioning them about different things. Obviously it's good to ask questions, but you don't want it to be like a repetitive thing. Like, you got like, let's say you got like a list and you're like, obviously, you might not be like this, but you'll be saying something like, have you ever cheated on anyone? And then they answer and you're like, okay, so have you, what kind of lifestyle do you live? What time do you get up? Do you exercise? Obviously you don't want it to be like that. You don't want to be asking one question after another like that, like what you do in an interview. It's just something that you bring up in casual conversation while you're having a good time. And you want to remain skeptical because, you could go out on a date with someone who is like a knockout when it comes to the looks department. They might be 10 out of 10, right? But obviously you got to remain skeptical and not let yourself get away with, not let how they look, let your emotions get away with you. And you're like, oh my God, they're so hot, they're so beautiful, they're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen on the planet. I need to be with them. But they bring up all these other things that they've done that you don't like, that you don't personally respect, and you're hoping that you're going to change them. Because what you got to remember is, most people are stuck in their ways. Most people don't want to change. Most people won't change. Most people are the kind of situation where, it's like that old saying, you might be able to offer them help, and the old saying comes in, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Like these videos, for example, I can tell you the advice, I can give you the advice, but whether you take it or not is completely up to you. That's down to you. It's the same with people. If you're on a date with someone, or you start getting into a relationship with someone that you're hoping to change, what you got to remember is you can't change them for them. They have to change themselves. And most people don't want to change. Now, obviously, you're someone who's probably more open to change because you're watching like a how-to style video. You're probably open, and you're probably one of these like high achievers. Actually, you're probably a really unique individual in the fact that you're someone who is willing to change themselves to become better, and that's really cool. That's really admirable. Which is why I admire anyone who comes across my channel or even searches up one of my videos. Or I admire people, obviously, who search up other videos. It doesn't have to be my videos, but they're trying to change. They're trying to improve their life in some way. But most people don't do that kind of thing. So you're a rare, unique individual. But what you got to remember is that when you're on a date with someone, or you start getting into a relationship with someone, and they start displaying like bad behaviors that you don't like, that kind of make your stomach turn, that go against your integrity, against something that you would do, and something they're doing things that you don't respect, that you find disrespectful, then you got to realize that, hey, this person might always be that way. So one of my favorite things that I love to say is, you got to assume that the person that you're with is always going to be the way they're going to be. You can't hope that they're going to change. You can't pray that they're going to change, because most likely they're not. So it's better to find someone who's good to begin with straight away, straight out of the gate. Find someone who you really drive with, someone who's got like really, like the same lifestyle as you, wants the same things in life, those sorts of things, like marriage, kids, are they faithful? Are they a good communicator? Like, for example, are they passive aggressive when they speak? Do they not tell you about their feelings? Or are they open and honest, and they're willing to work on things? And looking for someone who's a great communicator and who's willing to work on things, is a good person to find. Obviously, as long as you're one of those kinds of people as well, who's also willing to work on things. Because what you got to remember, we attract what we are personally like. So if you are looking for someone who is really super healthy, has a hot body, if you're looking for someone who has lots of integrity, who's a great communicator, then you've also got to be those things as well. Otherwise, you're going to make that person miserable, because you're not you're not displaying the same kind of energy that they are, basically. So that's something else to consider. But you have to be skeptical. You can't let how they look and how they make you feel and the passion or whatever it may be, you can't let that get in the way of common sense, which is a very difficult thing to do as human beings when we're dating, because, we are still animals, we are animalistic, we were not designed really to live as long as we do live as well. Just 100 years ago, most people were living up to the age of about maybe 50 or 60, sometimes not even that. And now we're living to like 80, into the hundreds now, right? So, and usually relationships were like really short and passionate. You punch out a couple of kids. If you're lucky, you see them grow up. But so relationships now are having to last a lot longer. So you have to be more skeptical. But you can see how you can get so like wound up in your passion for someone, at the beginning, because that's kind of like how we were supposed to do it. We're supposed to mate, live for a little while, hopefully see the kids grow up, get them to a point where they can take care of themselves, and then we perish. That's what, the life used to be like for a human being. But we live longer these days. We could live up to see our kids living in their 50s, right? So you can see why at the beginning, it's so important for us to be passionate and how we can get clouded. And I think a lot of it has to do with, how short human lives did actually used to be. And it was more about mating and reproduction rather than having a long-term relationship with someone. But now we have to we have to go a little bit backwards and think, okay, I can't let myself get too riled up. I can't let myself get too emotional and too passionate over someone straight away. I have to be skeptical because I could be stuck with this person basically for 50 years or more, right? So you have to make sure that you're stuck with someone who's good and someone who you can enjoy the company of, who lives the same kind of lifestyle as you, someone who you enjoy, who you find funny, who you can have a good conversation with, who you like to do things with, and have lots of shared activities that you can do together, right? So that's what I mean by high standards. Looking out for those red flags when you're dating, looking out for the green flags as well, being really aware of your list and the things that you're looking for, and the things that you personally want, being aware of those things and having high standards. And that's what I meant by high standards, just knowing what you want and living by that and sticking by it and not going back on it just because the person that you're dating is super hot. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.